going on, guys? The Halloween Hunters here. And today I went and picked up a couple cool little toys. These are the Cruzin coolers. Now, I always used to call these cooler scooters, but that might be two different companies. So I've wanted one of these since I was a little kid and could never afford one. Could never find them on Craigslist for cheap or anything growing up. And when I was a kid, these were like $500-$600 brand new from the company, and I couldn't afford that. Well, now I'm older and I'm on OfferUp every day, and somebody posted these for $100 a piece. They're not working, no batteries. He said the motors should work. So what we're gonna do is, instead of going on the Cruzin Cooler website, which they sell all the parts to fix these, which is really cool. They sell the tires, the inner tubes, the rims, the handles, the brakes, the throttles, the controller, the batteries, the motors, the seats. They sell everything, even the hinges. Like, these ones are broken. They sell replacements. They sell the vents. They sell these, the pegs. So that's really cool of them to sell parts. So here's what we got. I'm gonna try to make that one as perfect as I can. This one's missing some parts, like the cup holder, the seat. So this will be the secondary. But we're gonna make these run on Milwaukee M18s. So in this video, I'm gonna show you what you need to make these cooler scooters run on these. Now, cooler scooters, or these Cruzin coolers, whatever you wanna call it, they run on different voltages. So this one, you can see right there, it says 24 volt. This one is also the same exact model, so this one's also 24 volt. But they also make a 12 volt version and a 36 volt version. So that voltage is gonna be the motor, basically. So the motor on these ones is 24 volts. Now, M18 batteries, the 18 stands for 18 volts, okay? And then usually, if you have a number here, that's your amps, your amp hours. So if you just plug one of these in, it's not gonna work because it's only 18 volts. This takes 24. So I'm gonna show you how to do this. We're gonna wire these in series versus having them in parallel. And I'll draw a little wiring diagram so you can see exactly what's going on. Here's the other thing. We're gonna put these in series. We're gonna get 36 volts. This is 24, so that's too much. So we're gonna get this little guy here from Amazon. This is a little DC converter, which will convert voltage from basically 25 volts up to, I've heard up to 50 something volts, and it will convert it to 24 volt. So this is a 24 volt DC converter. So we're gonna run our 36 volts into this converter, and we're gonna get 24 out. How long this will last depends basically on your amp hours. Now, these are just XCs, but I also have a couple XC5s. So those XC5s will last longer. Also on Amazon, you're gonna wanna get these little Milwaukee battery plug adapters. They just have a positive and negative. And we're gonna install it using these. Got my solder, my heat shrink soldering iron. We're gonna open this bad boy up and we're gonna wire it up. Alrighty, so we open it up, and inside I have here's your little controller. Unfortunately, it broke. It was sitting over here, but that thing broke. So I'm gonna have to make a new bracket for it. So I put it up there, and then I think I'm gonna get these guys and bolt them probably just right here, one on like that, and then the converter can go down there. On the back, you'll see we have on and off switch. That's the fuse, and this is the original charger for the stock battery, so you can recharge it, but obviously won't be using that. If you look in here, here's the motor that came with this one. It's a 24 volt, 16 amps, 300 watt. Everything else looks pretty good. I cleaned these when I bought them a couple weeks ago. Had to wait for these parts to come in. So this is how I was given this thing. So we have our negative. What's cool is they give you a little diagram on the controller. So it tells you that this is battery. So this is the negative for the battery. This is the positive. Your positive goes through the fuse. And then over here, you know. So very simple. And then this side is where all your cold drinks go. It's got a drain plug. It's got a cup holder. And when you pop this open, you can get to your drinks while you're driving. Pretty sweet. This one's got the cool little seat with the backrest. I was trying to find another seat, and on their website, they were only selling the bottom half, not the backrest, at least right now. Also, I think I'm gonna peel these stickers off and put a big Milwaukee sticker right there. Alrighty, so let's go start wiring this up. So here is our DC converter, DC to DC. Got 4 wires. Now this needs to be wired correctly, and to make it nice and easy for you, right here on the back. So your input side is the red and black on the left. You can run in 36 to 48 volts input, which is where our battery is going to go, 36 volts. And then the output will go to the controller there, and that is your 24 volt 20 amp max. That's also very important. So they sell these in different amps. I went with the 20 amp because I was originally going to run I was going to run 4 batteries in here. So 2 separate series to 36, and then running those 36 and 36 in parallel to get more amp life. But I decided not to do that, so went with the 20 amp. Could have went with a 10, but it depends on what Milwaukee batteries you're running. If you're running one of the biggest batteries, then you might need to go more amps, but it just depends what Milwaukee batteries you're going to use. The other thing I will say, you have to use the same amp batteries. This is very important. One of the most important parts of this. So these are XCs, which I believe, man, I don't know what the amps are these, but they're both XCs. So they have the same amp hours, right? If this was an XC5 and an XC, it wouldn't work. It would technically kind of work, but you would have overheating problems. The reason being, if you have different amp hours, let's say this is a 5 and this is a 1 amp, the 5 in series with this will just try to charge this battery. So you're not going to get enough power really to run this well. It'll die sooner, and this battery will start to get overheated because this battery is not going to they're not going to work together to run your motor. This one's going to try to be charging the lower amp. So that's why you need to have the same amp hour batteries. So if you're using an XC, you need another XC. If you're using an XC3, XC3 and 3. If you're using an XC5, 5 and 5. If you're using an HD 12, it's got to be 12 and 12. So whatever batteries you're using, they both have to be the same, okay? It's pretty important to do this correctly. So you don't want to run different amp batteries or voltage batteries either, but obviously the M18s are all 18 volt, just different amp hours. So that's very important. Got to use the same exact M18 batteries. So we're going to wire this up and get her cruising down the street here. All right, we got it all wired up, and before I bolt everything down, I wanted to kind of just give an overview, and I'll draw a little wiring diagram for you to see, but we have 2 battery packs for the M18s. They are in series, so as you see, the positive from this one connects to the negative on this one, and now this positive goes into our 36 volt converter on the input side, as well as the negative from this battery goes on the input side. Output negative goes straight to the controller, labeled battery. This one is the positive for the 24 volt output. And this goes down actually to the little fuse breaker, whatever, little fuse guy. And then that comes back to the battery. So there you go. So now I'm gonna bolt these up to the side. I'm just gonna use some little, you can use little wood screws. I'm using little sheet metal screws. Eventually I'm gonna fabricate a little thing to hold that back over there. That's gonna go down there. And then these I'm gonna put like somewhere like that on the side there. So I'm gonna bolt it all up and then we'll give it a test drive. Alrighty, so here we go. We got electrical made easy here. So we got the two M18s. These are gonna be put in series, right? So we're gonna wire up our positive from that battery and the negative on this battery. Like that. We're gonna take the negative of this battery to our 36 volt to 24 volt converter. Negative to negative on the 36 volt input side. Take it from here to there. Boom. So now you're turning an 18 volt battery and an 18 volt battery. Make sure you see it. The positive goes to the negative on this battery. This is called putting batteries in a series. And your negative will go to the negative on the controller. Positive will go to the positive input on the controller. This right here is going to give you 36 volts. And then, you know, the amps or whatever your battery is. And remember, they have to be the same amps. Then from our converter, the negative goes to the negative on the controller. The positive on, in our case with this scooter, goes to the fuse. And then the positive from the fuse to the controller. Like that. And that is all the wiring that you're going to have to do. The rest is already done for you on there, on the scooter. So there you go. Wiring made easy. So you're taking two M18s to get 36 volts. 36 is too much for this motor because it's a 24. So we had to buy a converter. I'll try to put the links in the description. That'll convert the 36 volts we made from the batteries in series. It will output to 24 volts, which is what our controller and motor are running. And there you go. Quick and easy wiring diagram for you. Alright, so there's one battery. Got them mounted in there real nice. You can, now they're attached on the side, you can take them out, lock them in. Still got to make a bracket for this guy, and for that, that's going to just hang there until I can refix that bracket. Everything's heat shrinked real nice, and we can zip tie all these and make it nice and clean later. So now we're going to turn it on, so the light comes on. Lights are on up here. See if I could. Now we're cruising. We're cooler cruising. Oh yeah, this thing's fucking fast. Oh my god. This is like dangerous. So on a 12 volt battery, it says that this thing can get up to 13 miles an hour, which I've tested it, and I did get it up to 13 miles an hour. There you go, guys. This thing is pretty fast. Shit. Yeah, this thing's pretty quick. And this is the 24-volt battery version. They do make a 36 and a 12. I don't know which is the best. I'm guessing if you ran a 36-volt motor, bigger batteries, more batteries, you'd last a little longer. But pretty sweet setup. Now, the reason I chose to go with Milwaukee is because those are the tools I use. So when I bought this, I said, why am I gonna spend $200-something on a battery that's just for this, when I already have a ton of M18s that I use every day for work and stuff? So might as well save money, use batteries I already have. This converter was like 30 bucks. Those little clips were like a 4-pack for like 25. So not bad at all. Pretty fun. I ain't gonna lie, these things are a blast. So now I have to do this one. I'll rig this one up and then I'll have two. I already did test both of them off camera. They both work, both motors are good. Also, if you guys don't have soldering iron or solder or know how to use a soldering iron, you can also do this using like wing nuts or those electrical little nuts that you twist the wires together and you screw it on and then cover it with black tape to be safe. You can use one of those too. But soldering will be a better connection. So we soldered all of the wires together and then we used heat shrink to cover them. Yeah, this thing is pretty fun, man. Now these are really expensive. So like I said, when I was a kid, these were about $500-600 a piece. Now if you go on their website, they have newer models. This is one of the original versions, these ones. They have a newer model which is stronger, bigger front end, bigger batteries, bigger motor, everything. So it is a better model, but they're expensive. Brand new, they're like $1,500 or $1,600. So if you can find yourself a pair of used ones that aren't working, you might be able to fix them up and do what I did. So one of the most expensive parts on these things is the motor and the battery. Most people, once the battery dies, they usually don't fix them. They go online, they see, oh my God, $200 for a battery for my cooler. No thanks. And they post it online for dirt cheap because they don't want to fix it. They don't want to pay for a battery. So pretty much, yeah. Picked these up for cheap with no batteries. And now we're building them up. Let's see. So now I got to wire this one, which I'm not going to show you guys because you just saw me do it on the red one. Also, what's cool about this converter, it actually comes with these little clips right here. So these will help you if you don't have solder. You can use a couple of these clips as well. And it gives you the wiring diagram, input and output. So there you go. Now I got two more of these here. Like I said, a 4-pack of these was like 25 bucks. And then each converter was like 30 bucks. So you're in at like $50 here if you already have the batteries. And if you don't have Milwaukee batteries, you're using Makita or Snap-on or whatever your device is, Amazon will have a battery converter for it. Now this one's pretty beat, I ain't gonna lie. But here's our negative. Here's our positive that runs to the fuse. Yeah, that thing's pretty tore up. So this one needs some work, but we're gonna wire it exactly the same. It's got a bigger motor on it, but it's still the same 24 volts. Here's a controller. So these are a little bit different models. I think this one might be older. That one's like a couple years later, but they're still both pretty old, like early 2000s. So that's why they're falling apart. Well, this one is. And you can actually buy the whole cooler itself on their website. It's 200 bucks, but it is the official Cruzin cooler with the lid and the vents, but I don't think it comes with the wheels or anything else. So just the cooler is 200 bucks. So they sell them in, I think, red, blue, white, and black. So yeah, that's the Milwaukee one right there. I'm gonna peel those stickers off, put a big old Milwaukee sticker down the side. They also sell trailers. You see there's a little trailer hitch. They sell a little trailer coolers you can hook up and pull a secondary cooler with it. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching. Halloween Hunters here, building some cooler scooters, and we'll catch you guys next time.